If you're questioning the change of surroundings, no, the studio is not flooded again. I've just recorded a very different style of video that I'm very excited to put out towards the end of the week, so make sure you are subscribed to the Aaron Kelly channel so you do not miss that. I would like to hit 400 subscribers before the end of the month. I know, it's a big fucking ask, but we're going to try and do it. Welcome back to the Premier League verdict. God, it feels weird doing verdicts in here, you know. Wow, what a mental weekend of Premier League football we have just witnessed. For the scrap for relegation to the race for the top four, things are really starting to hot up in the Premier League. And I'm going to start off at the King Power Stadium, where Leicester City beat Liverpool by 3-1 in an incredible game of football. I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing for half of the game. Liverpool took the lead after half-time through Mo Salah, then 3 goals within 7 minutes. James Maddison with the first, Jamie Vardy with the second, Harvey Barnes with the third. Wrapped up all 3 points for Leicester City and really does put them in the driving seat, I suppose, for Champions League qualification. And at this point, the way I'd be looking at it is, if Leicester now don't make top 4, it has to be considered a poor season, because, like, look at these dominant performances that they've put in, and look how good they're looking, and look how, you know, safe they look in that top 4. And if they weren't to make top 4 at this point, if I was Brendan Rodgers, I'd be absolutely livid, because that'd be pretty much the second year in a row where they would have bottled top 4. But Leicester were great, don't get me wrong, but let's just have a little talk about Liverpool, because, like, what on earth is going on there? The first Leicester goal, Thiago fouls, I think it was Harvey Barnes on the edge of the box, I may be wrong there. James Maddison sticks in the free kick. The second one, and we talked about Alisson's mistakes last week against Manchester City, but he just makes an absolute howler of this one as well. And there's something not right there. There's something not right there. Surely, like, a keeper of that quality, a world-class goalkeeper like Alisson, doesn't make those type of mistakes 2 weeks in a row. And this one is just completely wild. Ball over the top. The Liverpool debutant, Kabak, goes for it, and Alisson comes out, cleaves him over, and Jamie Vardy capitalises upon the mistake. Mistake? Wow, who calls it a mistake? He capitalises upon the mistake, Jamie Vardy, and taps it into an empty net to give Leicester a 2-1 lead. And then the defending for that third goal, the Harvey Barnes one, was just absolutely unbelievable from Liverpool. Like, there's such a large space there between Kabak and Alexander-Arnold, and Barnes just runs into it. Kabak's never going to catch him, and a really accomplished finish. And if I was a Liverpool fan now, I would seriously be worried, especially after, you know, the way results went the weekend, which now sees them outside not only just outside the top 4, but outside the top 5. They're down in 6th at the minute, and I never really thought I'd be saying this about this Liverpool team this season. I'm going to move on to the late game now, and Spurs went full Spurs again, to be honest. Manchester City demolished them at the Etihad. 2 goals from Ilkay Gundogan, the second of which was absolutely outrageous. Sends Davinson Sanchez on the absolute deck. Rodri stuck away a penalty to, I mean, it wasn't a very convincing penalty at all. And Spurs, now, to be honest, if they were to make top 4, I would be genuinely surprised, to be honest with you. And we talk about Jose Mourinho. A lot of people are talking about how his job may be in jeopardy, and if they do sack him, who can Tottenham bring in? Like, are they even going to get anybody close to the calibre of Jose Mourinho? And, you know, here's the thing. When you bring in Jose Mourinho, you bring in Jose Mourinho for success, like short-term success. And he might just get that if they beat City in the Carabao Cup final in April. But is a Carabao Cup win and not finishing inside the top 4, is that reason enough to compensate for Spurs fans looking at football that they don't even like watching at the minute, which is this Jose Mourinho style of football which we've all become so used to? And it's one thing when he's playing this style and he's successful, people can't really say an awful lot, but the results just don't match up with what they should be for Tottenham Hotspur at the minute. And if I was a Spurs fan, I would genuinely be worried about not only the style of football that they're playing, but the really just continuous run of poor results as well. And it's not looking good for them, to be quite honest with you. And I don't know, let me know your thoughts on Jose Mourinho in the comments. I'm obviously a massive fan of Jose Mourinho, always have been, always will be. I just don't think that pot of players that he has at Tottenham at the minute is good enough defensively. Like, you look at the mistakes the likes of Lloris has made in the last couple of weeks. I really don't think Eric Dyer is good enough. I don't think Davinson Sanchez is good enough. And I'm really starting to question whether Toby Alderweireld is good enough anymore, because he's not looking at the minute. They're not good enough defenders, Matt Doherty, Serge Aurier, to play this defensive-minded style of play for Spurs. But I don't know, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Manchester United dropped points as well. They drew 1-0 at West Brom. Diagne giving Albion the lead before a terrific Bruno Fernandes goal. At that point, I really did think United were going to go on and win it, but just couldn't find the breakthrough in that second half. And it puts a massive dent on their title hopes and really propels City forward. I really don't see anybody catching City now. I said it last week when they beat Liverpool. I'm saying it again this week. I don't see anybody out. Let's be honest, the only two that are going to possibly catch them are Leicester City and Manchester United, and neither of them look even close to them at the minute. I think they're like 4 or 5 points behind, and City have a game in hand as well, which they're playing against Everton during the week. Speaking of Everton, they also dropped points at the weekend against Fulham. A 2-0 victory for Scott Parker's side at Craven Cottage. An unbelievable performance and an unbelievable result. Josh Maja with both of the goals, both absolute tap-ins, but he will absolutely take it to really boost Fulham's survival hopes and put a massive dent in Everton's Champions League hopes, because to be quite honest with you, their game in hand is now against Manchester City during the week. How likely are they to win that? Not very, in my opinion. Speaking of Champions League hopefuls, West Ham United moved into the top 4 of the Premier League last night before Chelsea kicked off. What a bloody result for West Ham. A 3-0 win over Sheffield United, who for me needed to win that, considering, relegation threatened rivals like obviously Burnley look probably well clear of it now at this point. Don't know if they can hear that, but what the fuck's going on downstairs? Declan Rice, Issa Diop and Ryan Fredericks with the goal, and I gotta give huge credit to David Moyes and his team. They've come from a relegation threatened team who, looked like they were in big trouble towards the end of last season, and now, Champions League hopefuls, it's absolutely incredible from them. What a turnaround. I'm recording in here, all I hear is fucking screaming. We'll move on to Chelsea then, and we're back in the top 4. I genuinely did not think. A couple of weeks ago we were looking at us down in 9th, we were suddenly, regretting ever slagging Arsenal or Tottenham off for their mid-table mediocrity. And now look at us, we're back in the top 4. I did say it a couple of weeks ago that this Chelsea team would probably get some sort of jump out of Thomas Tuchel, and that is certainly, what has happened. And I did also say that, when you get a run of results in this Premier League season, chances are you are going to find yourself way up the table, and that is what we've done. Still unbeaten under Thomas Tuchel, still only 1 goal conceded under Thomas Tuchel, and even at that, it was an own goal by Antonio Rudiger. But there was just so much to like about Chelsea last night. Olivier Giroud giving us the lead after an unfortunate injury to Tammy Abraham, and some good work by Timo Werner down the left hand side, who then finally, I cannot believe it, got a goal for himself. I'm honestly over the moon because his performances as of late, he has been contributing. It's not been a case of he's just kind of floated through games and done nothing. He's been getting assists, he's been winning penalties, he's been unlucky with some of his efforts. And finally Timo Werner got his goal last night, and let's be honest, it wasn't the best goal. It just about made it over the line, but who cares? Timo Werner will take it. I'll take it as a Chelsea fan. And that was it, a 2-0 victory. And second half, we didn't really look like we were too bothered about going on to score the third goal. I would have liked to see maybe Timo grab a second one, or Olivier Giroud, whoever. All that matters is the 3 points, and Chelsea are now into the top 4. And the performance was very, very good, and I'm already seeing massive improvements under Thomas Tuchel. But I think this was a nice run of games for Thomas Tuchel to come into as Chelsea manager. Think of like Wolves, Sheffield United, Newcastle, Barnsley in the Cup. Not exactly what you would call tough games. Burnley at home as well was another one. Like, there are definitely going to be tougher games ahead, and that's why I think it was right that the Chelsea board, obviously I'm not saying it was right for them sacking Frank, because I still think it was a little bit harsh, but we're going to move on from Frank. It was right that they acted when they did and didn't, hesitate or procrastinate over it, because you don't want to bring Thomas Tuchel in when you have a run of games of like United, City, Liverpool, West Ham, those kind of big games. We've got Atletico Madrid coming up in the Champions League next week as well, so it was right to bring him in this run of games where Chelsea are expected to win. I'm already seeing that he's getting the best out of some of these players, like players that I certainly didn't think I'd ever be mentioning again on Premier League verdicts. I'm talking about Antonio Rudiger, I'm talking about Marcus Alonso, I'm talking about Jorginho, Andres Christensen being another one as well. But Kepa Arrizabalaga started for Chelsea last night in a Premier League game. I know, it's absolutely mind-blowing, and to be fair to him, with the saves he made, they were good. But I just hope, and I don't think Tuchel is going to do this, I hope he doesn't leave him in. I think Edouard Mendy is the number 1, and he did specify that after the game. Thomas Tuchel, he made sure to do that. I'm just hoping that stays that way. But well done to Kepa last night. He was good. but I just don't want it to be a case where he leaves him in and then it comes to a big game like an Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, or a Liverpool or a City or a United that I already mentioned, and he makes a mistake and cost Chelsea very important points or qualification or whatever. But yeah, no, those are my thoughts on the games over the course of the weekend. Lads, let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Also, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, as I said, if you are new. We've got a video coming out towards the end of the week with, technically, I guess you could say, my very first ever YouTube collab. Keep your eyes peeled for that. That's coming soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you are new around here, and I will catch you later. Why do I bang the table every time I finish off a verdict?